name is Attorney Mumelo Joa, and I'm the Executive Director and Legal Counsel for Organization for Women and Children. Organization for Women and Children is an organization that champions women's rights in decision-making processes and in governance. So over the past few days before the election, we convened the Awash Project Accountable Safe Space in accountability room that documented women's specific concerns during elections, and we felt that it was important to monitor for women-led organizations to document and monitor the elections so that we can document those cases of elections and violence against women and other issues that women may face in elections. So on this note, I'm going to pass it on to my colleague. He partnered with other women's rights institutions to do this, and as we go into the thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sophia Kelly, and I represent the Women and Secretariat of Liberia. WONGOSO, as we all are aware, is the umbrella organization of many women institutions, and we are called to build the capacity of our network members in the 50 counties. For the election, we have monitored the issue of violence among women, and we work along with our partners to ensure that women are free from all forms of violence against women.
Okay, my name is Mariah Fania. I sit here wearing 3 hats. One, I represent the Women Legislative Caucus, the Liberia National Political Forum, and I'm a campaigner for the Women Can Lead. Those 3 institutions have been partnering with other women advocacy groups like OWASH, Women Angel Secretariat, and the Paramount Young Women Initiative. So here we are. We've done a very great job for the women of Liberia. Thank you.
My name is Fasia Harris. I'm the Volunteer Executive Coordinator for Paramount Young Women Initiative. This is a young women focused organization that delves into women education and empowerment. So part of our education program is women's leadership. And under that banner, we specifically do a lot of work around women political participation, representation, and leadership. And we've been working throughout, we worked throughout the electoral cycle on different issues concerning women political participation. So for the special senatorial elections, this 2020, we've been actively involved, and thus we are here today to give the updates that we are about to present to the media. So I'll go into reading the statement on behalf of the organizations that we represent. And it says, Women Rights Organization daringly rescues Madam Botoe Kanneh and calls on government to take action on persistent violence against women in elections. On Monday, December 14, 2020, the Organization for Women and Children, OWACH, Paramount Young Women Initiative, WONGOSO, and the Liberian Women Can Lead responded to election violence in Gbarpulo County to support the leading candidate in the county's senatorial race. Madam Botoe Kanneh was beaten and detained by local officials and threatened with the country devil. The group rescued Madam Kanneh and took her to a safe location. Madam Kanneh, the lone female candidate in the county's senatorial race, is leading by 449 votes. That's 25.268%, followed by Representative Alfred Gbarpulo County of the ruling party, the Coalition of Democratic Change. The National Election Commission NEC ordered a rerun election in the town of Nomonda-Tono in District 3 near the Sierra Leone border because the town's 2021 voters, 2,021 voters did not participate in the December 8th election. On December 8th, accordingly, the Paramount Chief Miguel Wula seized the ballot boxes and the elections material. The rerun was scheduled to take place on December 14, 2020. 2020, the day before the election, the town chief brought in the traditional male devil, a tactic intended to prevent Madam Kanneh and her supporters from entering the town and participate in the electoral process. In our investigation, we received several videotapes where Gbarpulo County Superintendent J. Kanneh Sarek audio tape where Gbarpulo County Superintendent J. Kanneh Sarek allegedly threatened local officials that they will lose their job if they do not vote for the CDC candidate. During the visit, the team learned that Madam Kanneh was beaten and detained along with several of her campaign team, and 2 women were raped while in police custody. The women experienced horrific forms of human rights abuses. They were ordered to stand in the sun with their arms raised. Madam Kanneh's brother, Councillor Botoe Kanneh, head of the Law Reform Committee, was also beaten while in police custody. We wish to inform the public that traditional male devil and other cultural societies that limit women participation have no role to play in politics. Hence, we condemn in the strongest terms violence against women in the ongoing elections, specifically Gbarpulo County. We wish to remind the government that Liberia is a signatory to many human rights treaties, including the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, CEDAW, United Nations Security Resolution 1325, UNSCR 1820, and other human rights protocol that not only recognize women's rights to fully participate in the political and public life, but also bans using rape as a weapon of war and crime against humanity. In addition, Section 10.21 of the new election law encourages candidates and or political parties to travel throughout the country to canvass for elections, and subsequent provision prohibits administrative, military, and or paramilitary from interfering with a person's right to participate in politics. The new election law gives NEC the authority to recommend to the government the dismissal of any official involved in interfering in the electoral process. Based on these findings, we call on the government of President George Manneh Weah to investigate these reports, including investigate reported human rights abuses by the Liberian Immigration Services and other military and paramilitary officials in the town of Normal and adjacent towns and districts in the county. Investigate the voice recordings circulating on social media where the superintendent mandating local officials to vote for the ruling CDC candidate on the instruction of President Weah. Immediately dismiss Paramount Chief Miguel Wula of Normal Datuna Jawed Chieftain Kwangba District, Gbarpulo County. Superintendent Kia Sa and other officials involved in disrupting the process seizing the elections material, bringing out the male devil in voter suppression or in violations of the law and the code of conduct. Investigate and bring to justice those who perpetrated the rape allegations against Madam Botoe's female supporters while exercising the rights to political participation. Arrest all suspects involved in the threats, detention, assault on Madam Botoe and her supporters. issue a public statement to reassure women in Normal District, number 3, Gbarpulo County, that they will be protected when 2021 voters head to the polls in the rerun when announced by NEC. Instruct the Ministry of Justice, the Joint Security Operations, and other paramilitary officials to ensure the safety of all citizens in Normal District, in Normal Town, who will be voting during the rerun. Urge the National Elections Commission to exercise the powers granted under the new election law to deregister and penalize political parties and their members for disrupting the electoral process, including facilitating violence. We would like to thank the women of Gbarpulo especially, who worked tirelessly to bring the assault on Madam Kanneh and her supporters to the public. We wish to remind the government that what happened to Madam Botoe Kanneh and her supporters is not an isolated incident. Rape and violence against women are on the increase. In the last 2 years, we have noticed a rise in assaults against women during the electoral process. Rape should not be used as a weapon of war in elections. It is a violation of women's rights, and Liberia, as a signatory to the various human rights law, must comply. We will continue our efforts to hold the government accountable for the treaties and commitment it has signed to protect the rights of women and all individuals participating in the electoral process. Signed, the mentioned institution. Thank you.
Questions?
Yes.
Yes, so that concern. You know, the special elections that were held on the 8th of December was drawn through a resolution from the legislature, and the Election Commission had 15 days period to announce the results. With the situation in Gbarpulo, have you any concern that if the 15-day terms elapsed and the NEC has not conducted the election in normal time, where the situation is currently, will you be calling on the NEC to go back to the legislature for another resolution before conducting election there? Because we already gone above the constitutional time and you were resoluted to have election in December. And now with this situation, 15 days are almost elapsed since the 8th of December. That's not possible.
These processes are governed by the law. So at that point, we will expect that the National Elections Commission, the government, and all parties involved will follow exactly what the interpretations of our laws are and follow.
Yeah. We still refer for Nido. Failure on the part of President Liberia to adhere to all of those recommendations. What would you do?
We continue advocating, and we know that the president, understanding the security situation, the threats, and if you travel to Gbarpulo, you understand what we're talking about. They to get a true sense of what's happening in Gbarpulo County, Gbarpulo, Kompa, and Nomo, all those areas. You will have to travel. Ask your president to travel there. We need political will at this time. People's lives are at risk. There's serious violence, threats. So we do not expect that the president will take no action. We expect that the president will listen to the people of Gbarpulo County. You will listen to Liberians. You will listen to women who have slept in bushes for nights because of fear for their lives. He will listen, and he's a man of peace. And he will do the most thing that is needed, the utmost thing that needed to be done to help to preserve our peace and return calm to Gbarpulo County.
Okay. Further to that, you asked what we go to. Liberia is a signatory to many international conventions and treaties. Under those bodies, Liberia is supposed to report on human rights violations. So if our government doesn't listen to us, and we hope he will, because he has a commitment for the 9% of the Liberian population, we have a recourse under the law and to our international partners.
So my name is Hannah. I write for Daily Observer newspaper. What I would like to understand is that after all of the election results, we only have one female player, who is Senatorial Lawrence. And then with the issue of Botoe Kanneh, who will be another female in the Senate, the issue of the Country Devils coming out, what fear imposed to her election in that part of the county?
So our understanding from what we gather based on our visit to the town, that and we do respect the traditions of our land, the cultural values that promotes human existing and peaceful coexisting, all of that. But the experience in the situation is that when the male devil of the ready to perform traditional is outside in the town, women do not come out. So definitely, if women are being threatened by the presence of that traditional, practice at the time where they should be going to the polls to vote, it's a threat. So women's participation in the elections, it is a threat. To women's participation, it is a threat to Botoe Kanneh as a candidate in, a citizen of the county, meaning she cannot freely move about to canvass, she cannot freely move about to be able to interact with the citizens where they vote in, at the area where the voting should be taking place in normal. So it's a threat to their security, their safety, and their well-being, especially when it comes to participation.
Okay, there is this issue going around. They said why they put a country devil was after investigation was because people came from across several land to come and participate in this election. So have you been able to speak with the town chiefs or other people to understand?
Well, I cannot verify who is a Liberian citizen or who is not a Liberian citizen. The National Elections Commission has to tell us, because everybody voting in our elections are expected to be Liberians. Once you have a voter registration card, it means that you are a qualified voter and you were, qualified. That's why NEC register you. So the National Elections Commission now has a burden to tell us that the claim being made that the citizens that were prevented from voting, or the reason why the election was allegedly cut off by the paramount chief, who is not an official of NEC. NEC has to come and clarify who are those people. It's not on us. We have no means of verification, and I'm not sure even the candidate Botoe Kanneh, is an official to speak to that. She's not an official of NEC. She's a woman running these elections. So NEC should tell us how come the paramount chief is alleging that we have foreigners or foreign nationals voting in our election process. Those are things that we ask the media to please do some further investigation on, because we can't just have it as rumor that these people are foreigners. How did they get our voters' ID card? That's serious threat to the credibility of these elections.
So can you tell us?
My name Ada writes for the News TV Liberia. We've heard of the threats coming out of Gbarpulo concerning the Senatorial candidate, Madam Botoe Kanneh. What is her current status now? Is she safe?
Okay, can you tell us about her status? Say you went there to rescue her. What did you
Okay,
see? What did they picture?
for the senator in waiting current status, she's safe. When we barely managed to get hold of her outlook, her appearance, it brought tears to our eyes. She needed rest. She was very, very hungry. She was restless. She was everything that is very odd. So right now, she's at a very safe location and she's resting. We are giving her 48 hours rest. You must lie down 48 hours, regain your strength, get into your state of mind. Then she herself will actually say what went on. When we got her, she couldn't even speak because she was in that state of shock. So she needs time to rest, and we are saying what we heard. And when we're going there, what we encounter, we cannot say. Probably she will say it to you people, but it was not right. You cannot treat a woman, that's very us women, to treat us like that. It cannot be political participation. Then you say you want to bring devil outside. You know that the women cannot see the devil. It's wrong. It's wrong. And for setting them in the hot sun, having gone, as they say, running behind them in the forest. Botoe will speak to that, but it was something that she needs to get in her rightful state of mind now to actually address whatever it is.
And just to re-emphasize or to add to what Sis Mariah said, when we encounter the candidate Botoe, Either you are female and we have another female in the room, Hannah. You know what it means for a woman to travel 3 days in the forest without water. So I just leave it at that. You can now describe it further. Without water. And as she said, this woman was speechless. When we got her, she could not talk to us for over an hour before she could utter a word. So that's the condition we met her in.
We'll have 2 more questions.
So Webster Clay from Front Page Africa. I mean, unlike most Senatorial County, Gbarpulo is kind of a small county in terms of population. What do you think all of these things, are playing, in Gbarpulo County?
Well, we need a government to investigate, go down to the people investigate. But as we see that Liberia is a very patriarchal society, we always say that, and people say, oh, this is not in isolation. This is part of the men's way of life that we've been socialized to. That's what playing out. So women not supposed to have a seat at decision-making table. The power that is with that male dominance, always feel that women must struggle, right? And even as much struggle as they make to get to the decision-making table, they always create hurdles along the way. So it's not in isolation for all the other women rights abuses that we see happening around here. The whole issue of rape is about power and manipulation. The whole issue of this electoral violence, what happened in Gbarpulo, why is it that no other male candidate encounters such a violence for a woman? That's something we should think about. So when we say that women rights are human rights and these rights are being threatened, this is exactly what we're talking about. It's being manifested now in a way where everybody is sitting back and doing absolutely nothing about it. This thing happened in Normal since Monday. The news, Sunday we started getting the news. Monday, today is Wednesday. Tell me what concrete report at least do we have from that place to rely on? So it is a threat against women, the women of Liberia, not just Botoe, not just the women of Gbarpulo County. There is a threat to women participation in decision making. We also saw the way the electoral the senatorial elections went across Liberia. How many women did we have on the ballot paper as compared to men? Why do you think we had it that way? You saw the way political parties put out their candidates. Why do you think they did not put out women candidates in numbers as they did for the men candidates? Why do you think that way? Why do you think that Gbarpulo County will have one woman that is going against all of those men? And at the point where she's leading, is at that particular moment that she's being attacked.
Okay, my name is Manager from the Women Voices. My concern had to do how you guys managed to rescue Botoe from the bush.
Well, we can't give you that one now, women.
Because since women cannot see the devil and put the devil
well, we did, okay, just to clarify, we did not reach to Norman Datun town. Sorry about what I got a name, right? It's somebody called Norman. Let me it's Norman, right? So we want to clarify for the record, we did not reach to the town. Our intelligence and our working, our connection. Women are connected. Take me to the women of Gbarpulo, we must emphasize this. Our connection when security people could not say where Madam Botoe was, the women were able to connect in a way that in the heat of the forest, we were able to get her.
Thank you.
And to get her to where she is, we had to disguise her.
Thank you.
Because all eyes were on the road. So when we get to the checkpoint, we had to do something. For each checkpoint, we had to do something. So
don't get it for our technique.
No, all the time, but that was we had to do something. We had to do something.
I'll tell you that we took off from there and their pictorial evidence. There are human evidence and all that. So it's not something that we're breaking about. We are just happy to say that the women, we stood together, we worked with the local community, and we were able to rescue this woman. We were able, with the help of the community. So when you hear women rights organizations in the community doing workshops, they're meeting with the women and having somewhere where she needs to be rescued. So it's not over the battle, it's just starting. The challenges are there. Benuja is she needs to get out. She's been threatened as well where she is. She cannot get out easily because of the security issue. So one of the things that also need to be added is for maximum security deployment in that county. so that the women can be able to move about without fear. Thank you.
And just to add, we need psychosocial support for also these women.
Exactly. Exactly. True.
So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for this press conference.